Yes, good evening, dear my friends on YouTube and TikTok. This is Biology King Yugi. Now, today we want to wind up our discussion of the one of the first pillar of life, which is movement that we've been defining and showing. We've been seeing how it is manifested within the body of organisms. Now, I want to see some of the functions of movement. Why is it important for the parts of an organism to change positions? For example, one of the first function, it brings about locomotion. So movement allows locomotion. If the limbs move, then the locomotion results. For example, if my legs start moving, locomotion result. If the wings move, then flight will be allowed. So locomotion is very important for the organism to search for food, mates, running away from their enemies, chasing their food like a prey for the case of predatory organisms and others. So that's very, very important. Another important thing is uh, assimilation of nutrients, by the body, assimilation of nutrients by the body. If materials can move, for example, when you eat food, after it has been digested, this food has to be absorbed into the body. In the process of it being absorbed, that is movement. Therefore, after the nutrients reach inside the body, then these nutrients are going to be assimilated. In other words, they are going to be put into use. For example, if you eat proteins and they are absorbed into the body, they are end products. These end products are going to be utilized by the body, for example, build tissues and other functions. So without movement, the body can't access such kind of nutrients. Another important part is reproduction. So movement allows reproduction. Much as this one is also a pillar of life itself, which we shall discuss in the future, but reproduction is also allowed by movement. I can give you an example of movement of the egg after it being released from the ovaries, then picked by the fimbriae through the infundibulum of the fallopian tubes to the ampulla of the fallopian tubes. This egg is being, or secondary oocyte, is being pulled by cilia. These ciliary movements allow the egg to move along with the fallopian tubes up to the ampulla of the fallopian tubes where it will meet with the sperms for fertilization to occur. Therefore, reproduction is being allowed here. So that is very important. So you see how movement is very important. It is even important for another pillar of life itself. So that's very important. Then excretion. So movement allows excretion to occur. Much as this one itself is a pillar of life, as we saw at the beginning, it's a pillar of life. But however, during excretion, when the body is getting rid of metabolic waste products like carbon dioxide, ammonium compounds like urea, like ammonia, and what have you, these compounds have to be moved from one place to another. For example, urea will be formed in the liver during the urea cycle, which is part of the protein metabolism. Then it is moved through blood and taken to the kidneys, where it is going to be got rid of, where it's going to be filtered through the glomerular filtrate, then into the urine, and then we will get rid of it. So you see, that is excretion. Itself is a pillar of life, but in some form it manifests as a movement. So this is very, very important. It's very important. Then another thing is movement allows sensitivity. Movement allows sensitivity to occur. You see, this one is a pillar of life itself, we shall see in the future, but you cannot sense unless movement has occurred, because movement during sensitivity, it manifests as ion exchanges, an exchange. ion exchange, whereby within cells we shall see sodium ions entering into cells from the extracellular fluid, then potassium ions getting outside of the cells to the then from the cytoplasm of cells to the extracellular fluid. So these action potentials manifest in form of sodium and potassium exchange along the plasma membrane of neurons, or you can call them sensory cells of neurons. So these neurons can sense but in the way that they can exchange these two kinds of ions, sodium and potassium ions, between the extracellular fluid and the intracellular fluid, which is the cytoplasm. So you see, now sensitivity is a pillar of life itself, but now it is manifesting in form of movement. Without these ions moving across the plasma membrane of neurons, then forget about you being sensitive. So you see how movement is very, very, very important. So, meaning without movement manifesting in the body of an organism, this organism dies. This organism dies because it won't be able to exchange. It won't be able to exchange useful materials between itself and the environment, but also to get rid of metabolic wastes from itself to the environment. For example, during excretion, we have seen that the body will get rid of carbon dioxide, that is during a gaseous exchange. Then we'll get into oxygen. Then we'll get rid of urea through the skin, through the kidneys, and other nitrogen waste compounds. You see, now excretion, sensitivity, the production are pillars of life themselves, are characteristics of living organisms. However, they manifest in some form as movement itself. So without movement, then an organism will be a candidate of death. With that, thank you very much. We shall be meeting next time discussing another pillar of life. May God bless you.